It's March, and March 19th is St. Joseph Day, and for Italians, it's all about the pastry. You can actually make both pastry with the same dough recipe, and I'm going to show you how. One is Zeppole di San Giuseppe filled with pastry cream, and the other is Sfinci di San Giuseppe filled with cannoli cream. The pastry cream I usually make either hours or a day in advance. I have egg yolks and sugar that I beat together. Add in your sifted flour. I add it a little at a time just to make sure it's incorporated. Then I add in warm milk. At first I add just a little bit to make sure I don't have any lumps in my cream, and then once I have a smooth texture, I add all the milk in at once, add it to a saucepan, and cook it until it thickens. The flavoring for this particular cream is lemon peels, but if you don't want to do the lemon peels, you can cook the cream without anything and then at the end add in a couple of teaspoons of vanilla extract. Cover and refrigerate. Now we're going to work on the pate choux dough, which is the same dough for both pastries. So the basic ingredients for a pate choux dough are butter, eggs, and flour, a pinch of salt, and some people add in sugar, which I do. So this recipe makes 6 Zeppole di San Giuseppe, but I'm going to show you how you can use the same recipe and make Sfinci and Zeppole di San Giuseppe in the same amount of dough. If you don't want to make a lot and you're just making it for your family, we could do sort of 3 or 4 Zeppole di San Giuseppe and maybe 3 or 4 Sfinci, and you can get the best of both worlds. So I have you here at my stove just to show you how to prepare the first part of the dough. I have a stick of butter I'm going to add into my pot along with a cup of water. And I'm going to turn the heat on and we're going to melt those two things together. At this point, I think I'll add my pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now that the stick of butter is fully melted, I'm going to dump the entire amount of flour all in at once. I'm going to start vigorously stirring to form a dough. Notice how it's coming together. You want to just keep stirring, make sure all that flour is incorporated. And you want to cook it just a couple of minutes to get that raw flour flavor out of the dough. So keep stirring. And we're done. I dumped the hot dough into a bowl, and now you have to wait for it to cool, because if you add the eggs into this hot dough, you're going to have scrambled eggs and not pate choux. So I'm going to be frying them today just for the sake of time. I actually prefer them baked, not the Sfinci, but the Zeppole di San Giuseppe. I like them baked, and I've posted videos on that before. It's up on YouTube. I think last year I posted it on YouTube or on my other platforms, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. So you can check those out. It's also on my website. But today we're going to be frying both Zeppole di San Giuseppe and Sfinci. It's been about 5 to 8 minutes. I think it's cool enough. I could start adding the eggs one at a time. So my recipe calls for 3 eggs. So I'm just going to add one at a time and then mix well with each addition. And I also have sort of leftover lemon that I already took the peel for the pastry cream. So I'm just going to throw in some zest. Lemon zest is never a bad thing in my opinion, and it'll just enhance the flavor of the actual pate choux. I mean, who doesn't love the smell of lemon zest? Really. I mean, as a child, younger, I never liked citrus desserts. I don't know what it was that was a turnoff to me, but now I can't get enough of them. I put lemon and orange zest in literally everything. And my dough is flying everywhere because I used the bowl that was too small. That's okay. All right, now that I have a nice creamy looking dough, just like this, I'm gonna place it into a piping bag with a star tip, and I'm gonna pipe my Zeppole di San Giuseppe onto a parchment paper square that I cut, and we're gonna drop it into the oil, but I'm gonna show you that part. And then for the Sfinci, we're just gonna use a spoon and scoop them right into the hot oil. All right, I have my parchment paper. This is something I do all the time, and I'm always like, people know this already, but maybe you don't, because when I first learned it, I didn't know. To help me get stuff into my piping bag, I place it into a tall glass. I fold it over, and then I kind of make space in there. And I'm going to take half the dough to make my beautiful Zeppole di San Giuseppe, and the other half is going to be for the other type. So just use the rim of the glass to kind of push everything in, and it keeps it neat and your hands don't get dirty, and I like it. It works for me. Okay, I think that's enough. And we're just going to pull this up and push it down. And then I recently discovered these little cuties. I love these. These are bag clips, so that, you know how annoying it is when you're squeezing the bag and the stuff starts coming out the top? This prevents that. So it's nice, keeps everything nice and neat. Okay, so I want to give you a different angle so you can actually see what I'm doing. So if you want to make them tall, you want to kind of go around twice or even 3 times. So I'm not going to make them as big this year. Let me get my bag out of your way. And this is going to stick to the paper so that you can actually dump it upside down in the oil, and it will release as soon as it starts frying. Now at this point, you just want to cut your little squares so you can dump those right in the oil. Just like that. Okay, we are back at the stove, and I'm just going to check the oil temperature. Okay, so we are ready to drop our Zeppole right into the oil face down. Just be careful. Notice how it released immediately. So there's no issue with the parchment paper. I'm going to add another one in because there's plenty of space. I don't want to add too many because I don't want to lower the oil temperature. And you want to see these puff up really nicely, and they're going to get bigger as they heat up inside. I'm just going to flip them over now. Start letting them brown on the other side. And you'll see they're going to start, once they get to a certain temperature on the inside, they're going to start like popping open. See what's happening there? That's going to be great air pockets inside the Zeppole. See how it's cracking here? That's what you want to see. You want to see it expand. And once you've achieved this nice golden brown color, you can take them out and place them on a drying rack. I'm just going to stick my tweezer right in the hole there, drain it a little bit, and place it on a wire rack that I have off camera. Oh, I lost my hole there a little bit. That's okay. Now it's time to fry the Sfinci. You take about a heaping tablespoon of that dough and carefully drop it into the hot oil. I'm going to do 2 per batch because these blow up pretty big and you don't want to crowd the pan. As you can see, a crack is starting to form, so I know that the inside is getting hot and they're going to get much bigger. The key to frying this type of dough is a low oil temperature, and you really want to fry it until it starts to expand. If you don't allow it to expand, it'll be dense and gummy in the center. I'm going to prepare the inside, the stuffing. So I already made the pastry cream. That's in the fridge setting. And now we're going to make the cannoli cream. Cannoli cream is so easy. There's not a lot of ingredients and it's not complicated. It's just ricotta, confectioner's sugar, and mini chocolate chips. That's it. So I have drained my ricotta overnight because the stuff that you buy at the store is full of water. And you don't want to have a watery cannoli cream. So you want to basically put it on a strainer with a cheesecloth and let it sit overnight to drain out all that excess water. And if you could, as you can see, there's water in this bowl. So it drained, I would say, about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of water, which is a lot. All right, so I'm gonna add, this is about 2 cups of ricotta. Just gonna dump it into my bowl. And to that, I'm going to add a cup of confectioner's sugar. So I have my packed cup of confectioner's sugar. And I'm just going to give that a mix. Oh yeah, I do add a little bit of vanilla extract to the cannoli cream because I like the flavor. So if you like it too, you can add that in. This bowl was definitely too small for what I'm doing right now, but here we are. All right, now I'm just going to eyeball it. It's about a teaspoon, sort of. So I'm just going to pour it in slowly so I don't have okay. I think that's good. And then we're going to add in mini chocolate chips, my kid's favorite part of this cream. So that measurement, I mean, chocolate, you can kind of measure with your heart. I mean, I wouldn't make it all, my daughter would love me to make it all chocolate, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to eyeball it and say she's not here. She would want me to, she'd hit my hand so I'd make a mistake. But I think that's enough. Like a 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips. You want to use the minis because you don't want like a big chunk of chocolate in your cannoli cream. All right, I mean, I have to taste it, so just to make sure, quality control. It's good stuff. All right, here's the pastry cream that I showed you earlier in the video. And this part right here, see these lemon peels with the cream stuck to it? That's like the best part. So good. Yum. That's like my childhood in my mouth. Okay, so I'm going to add this cream to a piping bag with a star tip, just to be fancy for the Zeppole di San Giuseppe, but the cannoli cream ones, the Sfinci, we're just going to scoop it in with a spoon, and I'm going to show you how to assemble that. I mean, this is, if you know, you know, the Italian knife that does everything, including be a screwdriver. So we're going to take the Zeppole, this one, and cut it straight across in half. Okay, look how beautiful it is on the inside. Nice air pockets. Okay, now we're going to work on the Sfinci or Sfince. I've seen it written 2 different ways. If there are Sicilians out there, can you tell me how it's supposed to be pronounced? Sfinci, Sfince. Look at these gorgeous puffs of deliciousness. Okay, we are going to cut these in half and add our cannoli cream inside, and then top it with a cherry and candied orange slice, which is originally how you're supposed to make it. So I'm going to take my knife and just cut right down the middle, not all the way. And I just want to show you, look at how beautifully these puffed up. They're gorgeous. And it takes a lot longer than you think for that to happen. You need to have a low temperature on your oil, and it takes between 5 to 10 minutes for these to puff up like that. Now I'm just going to fill the Zeppole di San Giuseppe with my pastry cream. I'm going to be pretty generous. Place the top on. Look how cute. And then I like to add a little dollop on top. And I'm going to be using these Amarena cherries. So this is the flavor. Like, you want to pour that juice on top and put the cherry, and it's so delicious. You can actually put, I'm going to add some on the inside because I like to do that and I forgot. So I'm going to take the top off, and I'm going to add a couple of cherries on the inside. I'm losing my cherries. And then I'm going to add one on top. With a little bit of that juice. So good. So messy, but so good. You know what? I think I am going to use a piping bag to add it in. It'll just be easier to fill the cavity instead of, like, I don't want to crush that beautiful puff that I got in the Zeppole, in the Sfinci, whichever. And I just want to tell you, these huge things are from a tablespoon of that pate choux dough. So it really blows up, like 3 times, 4 times its size. Okay, I can't find my clip that I showed you before. I don't know where it went, but we're going to move on. So I'm just going to take, and this is so delicate and so fluffy, I don't want to collapse it. So we're just going to fill the Zeppole with the cannoli cream as much as you can get in there. And then you want to put some on top, just like that. I'm going to put this down just to show you how beautiful that is. And then you want to top it with your cherry. A lot of pastry shops use like a maraschino cherry, like the red one, the real red ones, but I love the flavor of these, so I'm just going to do that because this is homemade. So I'm going to put that on top, and then I'm going to add, these are, my mom makes candied orange peels, so she gave some to me because I don't know how to do that, and we're going to add a piece of that just to make them look authentic. So I'm going to continue to fill these, and then I'm going to show you what a beautiful plate of pastry we made in honor of St. Joseph. Okay, now for my favorite part of the video, I'm going to try it for you and let you know how they came out. I have a feeling they're really good, but you don't know until you try it. So we're going to cut the small ones because it's, you know, right before dinner here in my house. So let me cut one in half and show you the inside. Look at that. Looks delicious. Okay, so I'm going to move the orange peel out of the way. That, you know, I'm not too into it, I'm going to be honest. Nice little espresso. my God. This one is delicious. Okay, now I'm going to try the other one. And I'm just going to cut half. Okay. Oh, I need that cherry. Get back here. Listen, little guy. That's the inside of that one. And we're going to try it. He doesn't want to be eaten. Delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can definitely make these at home and they're so fresh and delicious. Give it a try and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can see what delicious thing I'm going to make next. Ciao, my friends.